Hey guys, what's up? It's Josh.
And this is CJ. And we are sorry that we got so off schedule. We were doing a really good job of uploading these on a nice weekly basis.
We really were.
I think we were scared. I think we were scared of this matchup.
I wasn't scared.
I was scared.
I ain't scared of none.
I'm scared of this matchup because I don't know what we're going to do. This is our second take. The first take, we literally rambled for 8 minutes because we have no guidance.
We did ramble. Do you want to explain it, or do you want
I'll
to
explain it. Okay, so basically, you know how we like to do big finales. The first time it was Avengers versus Justice League for our Season 2 finale. Because our Season 1 finale we ended up not making. We ended up punting on it. Our Season 3 finale was Galactus versus Anti-Monitor. And now, for this one, we are going to do Odin versus Zeus, the head gods of their respective pantheons. The issue is, Odin and Zeus are both 7 bars of everything?
Pretty much.
So we have, like... The reason we were rambling last take is because during the parts where we would be like, okay, and this is Zeus. He's got 7 bars of speed. He can literally go wherever the fuck he wants, whenever the fuck he wants, and however fast he wants to get there. That's completely pointless. Just assume that these guys can do anything. Because, like, learning exercise, go to Comic Vine. And for Zeus, make sure that you're on the DC characters page. Both of them,
it won't help you. It's not. There's no information there on the not on the newer one.
But you know, the Odin, like, they've got this really cool general information right column thing where they list, like, basically like a TLDR summary of, like, everything about the characters. And, like, on the power list, Odin, you know, it's like a 3-second scroll to get through all of his powers, and it's very similar with Zeus. He basically has, like, every power. They both have pretty much every power displayed in their respective universes. Like, they could both change their size, for example. I know Odin is both psychic, psionic. He can raise the dead. He can levitate. He's got the power of attractive male, because there are some women that like the beards.
I think Zeus... I think if we're talking about, like, Zeus, I think he wins that. Like, come on, he's so attractive.
It depends.
He turned into a swan.
See, we're at, yes, he
still got some.
Well, okay, got some is like, was it?
He did.
It was Gucci Mane.
About it.
He pulled a Gucci Mane.
He pulled a Gucci Mane.
You ain't know. That flew over everybody else's heads. I apologize, but long story short, he raped someone as a swan.
Yeah, rape's not funny.
Odin doesn't do that. He's not into that furry shit. He's just a muscular Viking.
Never mind.
He's techno Viking.
Well, hold on. Here's the thing. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first with my guy?
You go first. You Zeus. I would like to point out, if you know anything about us, Josh is Italian. The Italians were once Romans. The Romans worshipped the Greek pantheon. My family is Norse gods. So we kind of divided this up accordingly. It was very racial.
But yeah, so I guess I will start off. So this was really hard to do because the new 52, he's only had so much exposure, but he's ridiculously OP, as he should be, as he's the head of the Olympians. Now, one thing that's different about, like, the movies, TV shows versus the actual, like, books is that they're legitimate gods in the books. So people like Superman or whatever wouldn't be able to stand a chance against, like, Zeus at all. So I'm just gonna put that out there now. He, you know, CJ touched upon this. You know, he can basically do anything he wants. He has omnipotence. He has, like, cosmic awareness. He knows essentially everything. So yeah, you can't really pull anything on him. Now, where in this I think he has the edge is the fact that Asgardians aren't immortal. They have longevity, and they eat the fruit from Yggdrasil to, you know, live longer, keep more in their prime. The Olympians are truly immortal, so they don't have to do that. So if this was like they're fighting forever and ever and ever, Zeus would end up winning because Odin would have to stop. He'd have to eat the fruit of Yggdrasil, stuff like that. Also, Odin is noticeably older in appearance. Like, he has, like, because like I said before, they're not truly immortal. They still age. So he's still older. Zeus is, like, in his prime forever. And the fact that also Odin has the Odin sleep he has to go into once he expels enough of the Odinforce. He has to kind of, like, get his energies back together kind of thing. Zeus doesn't have that problem. whatsoever, he could just keep on going to Hephaestus, be like, make me more weapons, because I'm using up all my weapons, and just keep going, while having sex with women, just keep going. So, like, yeah. Like, it's very straightforward, because they basically match each other at everything, but the fact that when it comes to, like, stamina stuff, Zeus has no Zeus sleep, Odin has the Odin sleep. So there you go.
The Odin sleep that only happens once every, X amount of time.
Well, it seems to be happening more and more often.
Because he's getting older. I mean, and he has died. He did come back, and he came back more badass than ever before. I would like to point out both of these guys are ripped, and I'm not sure whether it's because they actually put in the work or if they're just manipulating reality. So it's like that's your dream. If you have enough protein, you can literally become like Zeus. Like, look at this picture. It's like
Odin has
crazy.
one eye.
Zeus has like an 8-pack. I don't get what that is. Jesus had a 6-pack.
Odin has one.
Anyways, yeah, I mean, I'm kind of gonna skip the story of Odin. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do a little TLDR story of Odin, because a lot of people know Greek mythology. They know about the Titans. They know about everything. But for those that don't know, Odin, the Allfather, is the king of the Norse gods. He rules Asgard. In Marvel Comics, he's the son of Bor, brother of Vili and Ve, the husband of Frigga, and the father of Thor, Vidar, Balder, who why haven't we seen Balder in Marvel yet? That would be kind of badass. He's the adoptive father of Loki. Odin is, as quoted here, the wisest and by far the most powerful of the Asgardian gods, which is very true. And like I said, it's like we can get into, when we talk about powers, I might just have to read off his powers. I just saw this. He's got the power of insanely rich.
That's stupid.
I'm going to just mic drop on that.
I hope you know that sounds so stupid.
It does, but he's got the power of insanely rich. But, he himself is like millions of years old, or hundreds of thousands at least. He's been around for a while, and like Josh said, he eats the fruit of the tree. But because of reality manipulation, he could really, he chooses to appear old, I think, for the purposes of looking wise. But he could, definitely make himself a lot younger.
I'm sure he's still like very strong and stuff like.
Yeah.
I believe it was Fear itself. He basically physically put down Thor.
But just to
Thor disobeyed him.
Like I said, TLDR this a little bit. Powers, he's got the Odinforce, which is the access to a force that's named after him. He manipulates magical power with this. He can read minds. He can create force fields that are impossible to get through. He can alter his size. He has Force Blast strong enough to knock out one of the most powerful Marvel heroes, Silver Surfer. And he can also enchant items. He's highly talented, so he doesn't need Hephaestus, essentially. He's, highly talented. He's practiced with the Odinforce a lot. He can bring back people from the dead. He fought Thanos. He fought Galactus. At his peak strength, he was able to knock Galactus unconscious. And the Odinforce also gives him the power to grant immortality. So really, he doesn't, as long as he has the Odinforce, he doesn't really need the fruit of the tree. He's invulnerable. He has nearly limitless mystical power that can heal him if he ever does get damaged. And, he can teleport to any location he wants. He can manipulate all forms of energy for a variety of effects. He can manipulate mystical energies as well. He can transmute matter, rekindle dead stars. Like I said, create force fields. Reading minds is pretty cool. He has countless powerful spells. He's got both superhuman strength and speed, as even though he's one of the oldest Asgardians, he can lift over 60 tons. His highest feat in old age, during the time of the Celestials, he was shown to lift 90 tons, but he could lift heavier with his powers, but these are just his natural strength feats. And he's also got better agilities, than pretty much anyone in the Marvel Universe, and his reflexes rival Thor, his much younger son. And, the Odin sleep is an issue, but he only has to Odin sleep once a year. So, if this battle goes on for a year, which it very well could, that would be an issue, but until that point, maybe not. Also, he has swords and shit.
He has what?
He has swords and shit.
Oh, so does Zeus.
He's also got an enchanted spear, Gungnir.
Zeus doesn't need an enchanted spear. He just summons... I think one thing where he is better than the other is the fact that he can basically, control everything when it comes to, like, nature, that's an edge.
True. Well, Odin can do that
Like,
too.
he can just naturally do that. That's his, like, natural affinity.
Well, I think it's because of Gaia. But, like, I would read off Odin's powers right now.
Well, my thing is, like, you did. My thing, though, is, like, well, how many of them are, like, legitimate, still in continuity, modern day abilities? And how many of them are, like, Silver Age stuff? Because remember, Superman could also travel back in time.
Well, truth be told, we don't know much about Zeus either in the New 52.
Well, we know from what they showed that he actually kind of went missing. Not missing, but he, like, retired from, like, leading the Olympians. They don't say why, but Apollo leads the Olympians in the current day New 52 stuff. But we know, though, that Zeus basically just went around screwing everybody.
Pretty
Like,
much.
both, like, in battles, in the bedroom.
Yeah.
Like, he's never lost, really.
To be honest, this is just a matter of pick your flavor.
It really is. It's like if you want a little spice in your, like, here's the thing. If you choose someone you'd like to take home to see your family, if you have a wife at home and you're very, very certain she loves you, you can take Zeus. But
That's
if you're
not true.
certain, do not take Zeus.
So you're trying to make more about the attractive male thing. I think, in terms of sheer power, I just think Odin with the Odinforce beats Zeus by a little bit. Just remember Odinforce. Yes, Odin sleep is a thing, but it's not rare. It's scheduled. Or not scheduled, but it's at least, if this fight happens in the beginning of the year, he's got a year's worth of energy to work with.
Well, my thing is, you have Odinforce. Zeus, just like all the other gods in the DC universe, were affected by the God Wave. And with the God Wave, which is essentially, like the same kind of, it's the same concept as like the Power Cosmic and Odinforce, all that stuff. With that, they essentially accomplish the same things, except for, I think Zeus does it much more. I think he has a much more wider range with it. Considering, like, look at people like Shazam. Shazam has a portion of his abilities and can match people like Thor. That's just a portion of Zeus's power. Now, just to put it in perspective, Thor has challenged Odin. Odin has put Thor down. But Thor has still challenged Odin. That would never be able to happen with Zeus.
True. I think it's all about how they present the gods in Marvel versus DC, because in DC they make them very, there's no one really that you could call like, oh, this hero is also a god. Like Shazam is probably the closest you have.
Yeah, like, if you're a god in DC, you're a god. Like, here, I think a better representation is, look at Darkseid. Darkseid in the New 52 took the whole Justice League to fight him. They didn't defeat him, per se. They didn't beat him down. They sent him back through a boom tube. That's different. But someone like Darkseid is a type of power level Zeus is on. Even though Zeus would be higher than Darkseid, considering he's a legitimate god, he's not like a new god that took their powers from the old gods kind of thing. It's kind of complicated to explain, so I know a lot of you are probably confused here, but just to put it in perspective, think of it along those lines.
The bottom line is this battle is very subjective, and it's all, I think it comes down to, like I said, how they present the gods. Like in DC, as we just said, they're almost, sort of Plato-esque. They're in another realm. They're in a higher realm. They're, higher plane of being, essentially. They're untouchable and nearly unfathomable in terms of power. Whereas in Marvel, I believe that Odin, while he has the power to match Zeus, and maybe even surpass Zeus, I think there's a little bit of a perspective bias because of, how they present him. It's like, oh, you can go talk to Odin. It's like, you can go say, what's up, Odin? And he'll probably just, like, bitch slap you down the Rainbow Bridge back to Earth. But
yeah,
you could do it. Like, you could try to fight Odin if you wanted to. Zeus, it would be much harder to do. But
yeah, he would be like, this is a joke. And
at one point, Asgard was, like, hovering over New York City. So people know these things exist.
It wasn't New York. It was Oklahoma.
No, Asgard was over New York at one point.
The Asgard is over everything, over New York, over Bronx and Oklahoma. But yeah, like, that's the thing. Like in Marvel, for Odin, people can make weapons that would kill him or hurt him. In DC Universe, that wouldn't fly.
It's still like, it's kind of like, Thor is technically a god. I mean, they explained it away, in the Marvel Universe as, they're just aliens that we saw as superpowered.
Well, not in the comics. In the comics, they're still gods.
Yeah, I mean, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, even still in the comics, it's like, they kind of take a similar stance. It's like the gods are parlaying with humans. They're not. And by communing with humans, Marvel kind of has to make them seem a little less powerful, I think. But just to make them relatable, like to make Thor relatable, he can't be flying around. And I say this, I realize Superman exists, but, they kind of had to depower them to make, like, the conversation of, oh, who wins, Hulk versus Thor? Well, if we're talking about mythological Thor, that's not a question. But if we're talking about Marvel Comics Thor, then maybe Hulk wins. And that's another topic of discussion for another time.
Well, fun fact, in the comics, they actually did say Hulk beats Thor when it comes to, like, just strength, but all around, everything all together, like, power-wise, Thor has more power than Hulk.
Yeah. Anyways, honestly, like I said, I made my case that it's really subjective, because it really
is.
We don't.
Honestly, it really is.
And a lot of it is
Such
because we don't know the
big
limits of power. Like, we don't know the limits of their power. I'm still sticking with Odin, because I think he has a lot of powers on the record. And he's, very adept at just about everything. The Odin Sleep is a heal that could be, manipulated. And yet, there's a lot of unknown with Zeus. If we look at what we know, I think if we just look at on the record, I think Odin wins. But if we look at what Zeus potentially has the power to do, then I think it skews a little bit more evenly. But
yeah.
Who knows?
And if we want, honestly, we could, call in their support.
Yeah.
I guess to help balance it out. Like, Odin could probably call in Thor, Beta Ray Bill, Sif,
Balder.
Thunder. Well, Thunderstrike's not around anymore, as far as I know, so that's not gonna really work. But yeah, like Balder, all them. Zeus could call in Shazam, Wonder Woman, Hercules, crap ton of other demigods. Honestly. Like, basically all the Olympians, too. And, for Odin, it'd be only right for him to call the rest of the Asgardians. But, yeah, honestly, it'd be... See, I don't think I've ever said this before, but this would be a shitty fight. Because there's just so much OP going on.
Exactly. And that's why we leave it to you, the commenters, to decide, who wins in this matchup. In this, essentially what would be an eternal power struggle between the two of them. If you think it's Zeus, go ahead and comment Zeus. If you think it's Odin, go ahead and comment Odin. It could be either, honestly. This is almost a toss-up, really. It's very, very tough to call. It's almost too close for us to call, and that's why we leave it to you. And we really ought to do something, and I think we've got plans to sort out, finally go through the comments, sort out who won based on the comments, and all the victors, and we'll do something with that in the future, I guess. But... this is very important. This is up to you. We couldn't decide. We still stick with our guys, but it's down to your opinion. So you, the viewer, you have the power.
Yes.
Yes.
So I probably sound really tired because I am. I had a 4-hour engineering lab today, which was...
Sounds really fun.
It was totally fun. But yeah, comment below what your guys' thoughts. I'll see you guys later. I've been cranking out a lot of bios.
Yes, he has.
Yeah, I'm educating you guys.
And he has done the research. I've got one that'll be coming out very shortly. That should be it's one of my favorite characters. If that gives you a hint. It is. It's really weird. It gets kind of. I think it's going to be magical, really. So if any of you are even still listening, you just got the hint. Anyways, signing off. This is CJ.
It's Josh,
and we'll see you next time.